Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. You're watching another edition of The Small Business Show, exclusively right here at ASBN.com. Carl Murawski is a mechanic turned licensed electrician who has taken his blue-collar experiences and turned them into entrepreneurial success. He's now all over social media, partnering with major brands, and joins us to share his entrepreneurial journey into social media. So thank you so much, Carl, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to share the tricks of the trade here.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Sure. So what inspired you to see your trade skills as more than just a job, but as a platform for entrepreneurship?
I realized that there was a lot of information that wasn't readily available out there, specifically regarding some of the gear that we wear. A lot of times it's easy to find advertisements, but not really straightforward advice. There's also a lack of very good information when it comes to career advice, maybe getting into the right apprenticeship, which trade might be right for somebody, and how to succeed in that. And there was a lot of things I had to learn the hard way, which I found that people are eager to listen to. So I was happy to share that knowledge with people.
Sure. So are you still a technician today? Are you still in the trades?
Yeah, I still work as an electrician every single day.
Okay. And then when do you have time to spend doing these great videos and putting them out on social media?
It's tough. I mean, I kind of do them in the marginal hours, you know. I mean, when my wife takes the kids to Costco, that's usually when I'll film a video. And then a few hours before work every day, I'll edit them together. And it's not easy, but I've been doing it for almost 10 years now, so I'm kind of used to the grind.
Wow, that's fantastic. You're a natural for it. I mean, your presence on air seems like you're very relaxed. You're very comfortable in front of the camera.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's several hundred videos kind of do that too. You know, my first one, I was certainly a little bit more rigid, but
Sure.
You better watch out. I might be coming for your job next.
Bring it on. I need to retire soon anyway. No, that's awesome. So was it just one day a light bulb went off and said, "Hey, wait a minute. I think I've got something here that people might be interested in listening to."
Yeah, basically, I was always looking for some place that I might fit in, and I've always enjoyed video production, and it really doesn't take a whole lot to, convince me to talk in front of a camera. So
yeah.
I thought, well, why not? This is something, maybe I'll put it out there and people will watch. And, to my surprise, they did. And I now will really just use a lot of viewer feedback to make the next video.
Right.
And that will sort of feed the machine. So it's a symbiotic relationship between me and the audience.
Sure. And you've got a very loyal audience. Having said that, at what point in time do you realize, hey, this could be monetized? This is something that could generate an income?
Well, yeah, and that's kind of the dream, right? Is that someday to be able to do this full time, and we'll see what happens. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but
Right.
It's certainly something that I would love to do.
Yeah, for sure. And is it something that if that's the ultimate goal, that you see yourself one day stepping back from being a technician or a mechanic and saying, okay, I could make this a brand?
Yeah, and at that point, because I could speak from experience now, 20 plus years as an electrician, and then again, as you mentioned before that, as a mechanic. If I were to go full time, it would be really about highlighting the people who are still doing the job.
Yeah.
Being sure that I serve them.
Sure.
And provide them with the information that they know. So I guess the shift would change a little bit from us to you and what you need on the job.
Right. There isn't, I don't think, a chore that I do, or a task, I should say, at home, where I'm not going to YouTube to say, how do you, and then fill in the blank, right?
Yeah, and there are a lot of people now who are looking to change careers mid-career. So I get a lot of comments from people in their 30s or 40s who are looking to maybe escape the corporate life and get into doing something that's maybe a little more fulfilling with their hands.
Right.
And they always ask, is it too late? What's the right move for me? And
sure.
There's a lot of need out there for this kind of content. So I almost can't make it fast enough to answer the questions that I get.
Yeah, for sure. Many small business owners in the trades struggle to think of themselves as entrepreneurs, right? How can blue-collar specialists shift that mindset?
It's tough. It's very difficult. It was hard for me to get used to being an hourly employee for my entire life.
Sure.
To understanding the side of, opening up an LLC and what a tax deduction is and all those things.
Sure.
But once you kind of find your power, there's a lot of really interesting and exciting challenges to be found there. So I think just having a little bit of accepting a little bit of risk and giving something a try, and if it doesn't work, no big deal. It could serve a lot of people well.
You're also passionate, as you were just mentioning, about mentoring. Why is passing on knowledge and encouraging the next generation so important?
Well, for a few reasons. Number one, we have a big need for tradesmen right now, and I want to make sure that people go into a trade knowing what they're going to get into and not being surprised, because a lot of times I hear people promoting the trades who haven't necessarily worked in them, and they can't tell people the downsides. The things like you may need to eat lunch in a utility room, that, the porta potties can be pretty rough at times. And letting people know kind of the pros and cons is really important, because then they can get into it and they sort of have a good idea of what they're getting into, rather than like a fairy tale version. But the reason that I think mentorship is so important now is because my father wasn't really around when I was younger, and I had a lot of questions that I think he probably could have answered. So if I can work as a bit of a stand-in for people who were like me when I was younger, I'm really happy and proud to do so.
That's fantastic. What advice would you give to someone listening today who may feel stuck in the day-to-day grind but want to take that next step in entrepreneurship?
Well, in entrepreneurship, I mean, it's wonderful because you have control over your earning potential. And I know that sounds tricky, especially in the beginning if you're not used to this, but for me to ask for a 10% raise year over year is a pretty big ask.
Sure.
If you are an entrepreneur, you can make as hard as you work. So if you're smart, if you can make things happen, getting a raise is not very difficult. You can do it for yourself. So being master of your destiny, it takes a little bit of getting used to, but I think that it's ultimately the most fulfilling work you can do.
Sure. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now with the trajectory that you're on? What's the objective?
I would love to get into doing more. Like this year, I was lucky enough to be asked to speak at a graduation for an electrical school. And I would love to do more of that and be able to get out there and speak to people more hands-on and face-to-face. I mean, the camera separates us, and it's a great way to reach people, but I've always enjoyed spending time with people face-to-face. I mean, it's a little old school, but I like that, and I think I would like to get into doing more of that type of thing. There's different trades shows, and there's lots of places to meet people, and I think people crave that actual person-to-person interaction. So I definitely want to incorporate more of that and sort of, position myself as a bit of an advocate and a somebody who stands up for dignity in the trades, which is long overdue.
Yeah, for sure. Do you see yourself interviewing those others in the space where you're more of the show host and you're bringing others in to interview?
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. I mean, I think it'd be great to be able to bring people in who have done all kinds of different types of work, so that people can see that there are a lot of different types of jobs out there.
Right.
And maybe they can get some information from these people firsthand.
Right.
So they can make the best decision for themselves.
Sure. Others that I've spoken to that are in the social media space and have built a following like you have told me that people have come to them either on a direct message or even in the comments, where they'll come to that individual that they feel comfortable with about other things in life that has nothing to do with being an electrician or being a tradesman. Maybe it's, hey, I've got a marital problem. Let me run it by you. What would you do in this situation? Or I've got a kid that's going to school that's kind of, not adhering to the rules here. So have you found that to be the case, where people feel comfortable with you because they feel they've been watching you for 10 years, they like you, and maybe there's some other areas of their life you can help them with?
Yeah, that does happen. And it's funny because it is sort of a quasi friendship that you have with these people. A lot of times I recognize people in the comments who are regular commenters, and you get to know about them and their lives, and they feel like they know me more than I know them because they see more of me.
Right.
But I've even had this kind of happen in person where somebody recognized me. My family and I were at a sporting event, and somebody kind of went by, gave me that look that you get, and and came over, and now I'm like, all right, well, do I introduce them to my entire family that's here, or do I just say thank you and it's good to see you and move on? But I mean, I always try to come in at things as from as benevolent a perspective as I can, and people I found are just generally good, and
Yeah.
I haven't been proven otherwise.
What do your kids think of all this? Are you a pretty cool dad because of this, or not so much?
Well, they think, I don't know if they think so, but their friends certainly do. I did a thing where I went into my daughter's school and read a book to the class, and I said at the end, any questions? And she must have told people, and hands shot up. How many subscribers do you have? Do you have the silver play button? And then I'm like,
right.
I meant questions about the book,
right?
But so there I was fielding questions from a bunch of third graders about YouTube.
Yeah, and nowadays third graders have followers on their social media. That's how crazy it is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That is really something. Well, continued much success. Thank you so much for taking some time with us. I think your story is very inspiring. There's a lot of people I think that are going to be watching this going, maybe this is something that I can do, whether it be to get into the trade or get into social media. So you've done a great job at it. So Carl Murawski, licensed electrician and construction coordinator and YouTuber. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.